When Mafia Definitive Edition was first announced, along with the Mafia trilogy, a lot of us old school Mafia fans that played Mafia City of Lost Heaven were very excited about the potential remake of such an iconic game from 2002, but we were also wondering what all would change. Would they bring back the voice actor who played Tommy Angelo along with the other voice actors? And unfortunately, they did not. However, just like with any other remake, you have to sometimes recast these iconic characters with new actors and actresses, and the same applies when it comes to voice acting. This article from MafiaGame.com, link below in the description section, recasting Tommy Angelo for Mafia Definitive Edition. Hangar 13 developers discuss the process of finding Mafia Definitive Edition's leading man. The Mafia series wouldn't be what it is today without Tommy Angelo. As the leading man of 2002's Mafia The City of Lost Heaven, as well as the upcoming remake, he's our conduit into the criminal underbelly of 1930s America, and the kind of relatable anti-hero that every great mobster drama needs. When Hangar 13 started work on Mafia Definitive Edition, the scope of the project meant they needed to find a new cast to portray the characters of this timeless organized crime story. And at the heart of this is an all-new Tommy Angelo, who you can get to know a little bit in the New Beginnings narrative trailer that Hangar 13 released during the PC Gaming Show. I did do a breakdown video of it, by the way. If you want to check it out, feel free to do so. Below is a complete list of actors who will portray Tommy Angelo in Mafia Definitive Edition with localized voiceovers, such as Andrew Bergiorno, Tommy's English language voice actor. Also, the basis of Tommy's likeness and motion capture performance. All support languages will include localized subtitles. So they have a few voice actors to play Tommy Angelo from various languages, such as French, Italian, German, Spanish, Russian, and Czech, because the original Mafia game and Mafia 2 were helmed by Illusion, which eventually became 2K Czech, and a lot of the work towards Mafia Definitive Edition is being done by some of the original developers of Mafia The City of Lost Heaven. So obviously the Mafia franchise has a special place in Czech. Mafia Definitive Edition actors during a total capture performance from left to right, see Joe Chambriello, Jordi Chabriello, Glenn Toronto, and Angelo Borgiorno. I hope I'm pronouncing your names correctly. If I'm not, I do sincerely apologize. But I really do enjoy seeing these behind-the-scenes images of the mocap work that is done in games such as Mafia Definitive Edition or Mafia 3 or like Red Dead Redemption 2, for example. It looks really cool at the work they do behind the scenes. So let's go ahead and continue searching for an all-new cast, giving Mafia Definitive Edition the kind of polished cinematic presentation it deserves meant that simply reusing the original game's audio wasn't an option. Because Mafia Definitive Edition is a complete remake, we rebuilt virtually everything from the ground up, says Hangar 13 president and CCO Hayden Blackman, who oversaw the development of the game and expanded take on the original story. That includes cinematics, which were remade using our state-of-the-art mocap and facial likeness technologies. Since our cinematics rely heavily on motion captured data, it was essential that we have both voice and physical performances. We looked for actors who not only sounded the part, but also looked the part and could perform on both a motion capture stage and a voiceover booth, for those of you wondering what VO means. Quote, I definitely looked into the possibility of getting the original actors, says Hangar 13 producer Nicole Sandoval, who manages the mocap and voice recording work with a narrative team across cinematics and dialogue. But bringing back the original English cast just wasn't viable, not to mention it has been nearly 2 decades since the original Mafia debuted. No one's voice stays the same, especially after such a long period of time, notes Sandoval. Ultimately, Hayden, Alex Cox, the associate game director, and I really wanted to make this an ensemble, she said. Some might work, well, why not just keep Tommy? Sure, but then you don't have a really ground-up ensemble that you can build to go with the expanded version of the story. And it's really important for us at Hangar 13 to make sure that because we do invest so much in the story, we're building a cast around the story that we feel will be the best at bringing these characters to life, working together and becoming like a family. Meet the new Tommy Angelo. Naturally, finding the perfect Tommy Angelo was the most difficult and crucial aspect of getting Mafia Definitive Edition recasting just right. In many respects, we knew that we had to build the cast around the actor in order to ensure a sense of family. says Blackman. Hangar 13 found their man, an Italian-Australian actor, Andrew Buongiorno. Quote, Tommy needs to be believable as both the mobster and a family man, said Blackman. Because he's a stand-in for the player, he needs to be able to walk that line well. We wanted someone who was aspirational at times, someone you might want to be, but who could also convey this very human weakness. He also needed to be able to run a gamut of emotions. When Andrew auditioned, he was able to provide that range. Sandoval recalls that there was a distinct coolness and calmness to Buongiorno and stood out during his initial audition. Quote, in the callbacks, we really liked to give the actor a lot of back and forth with the notes directly in that moment, she says. He just took the direction so well. We pushed him and he was willing to go there. It doesn't hurt that he also looked how we want Tommy to look. Obviously, the technology from 2002 didn't allow for facial likeness, but Mafia Definitive Edition, we were able to not only find someone who could sound and act like we wanted, but we could have the trifecta of this guy even looks like what we believe Tommy would look like if he wasn't pixelated. And that's one of the great benefits of being able to redo something like this for the fans. The technology now allows us to have a much more say over what the character looks like. And at first, some of us were having to warm up to the new voice and the new look of Tommy Angelo, but I think that the majority of Mafia City of Lost Heaven fans are willing to give Angelo Buongiorno a chance. We're starting to really like his new look. Of course, we're always going to have a special place in our heart with the original Tommy Angelo, voiced by Michael Servino, son of Paul Servino. But, when it comes to remakes of movies and TV shows, sometimes time goes by and you just got to recast people. And like I said, I'm more than willing to give the new cast of Mafia Definitive Edition a chance. And I think they're going to do a fantastic job. Funnily enough, there was one aspect Buongiorno really had to work at to get Tommy just right. Quote, one of the things that we really wanted to take the time to do when we were recasting was make sure our actors got vocal coach training, explained Sandoval. Hangar 13 brought back vocal coach Elsa Jane, who worked extensively with the distinct dialects of Mafia 3's New Bordeaux. We hired her back again, and she did all the different sounds from 1930 Chicago for us. She did a lot of research. She sent videos and samples of each of our actors, got to work with her one-to-one to make sure that they learned the different sounds. Quote, we really want to make sure that people are getting in this version is that the authenticity of 1930 Chicago, the real-world inspiration for Lost Heaven. It's not in New York, it's Chicago, and a lot of people that think of 1930s gangsters think of classic New York gangsters, and there's a distinct difference between the sounds of Chicago and New York. The biggest one being the R sound. So in New York, it could be ka. In Chicago, it's car with a hard R. I wanted to get the t-shirt and said, stop dropping the R's, last Sandoval. That's something that we worked on really hard for this game, and that had a little bit of authenticity. So I appreciate that. I'm glad that they went that extra mile when it came to how people were supposed to sound in 1930s era Chicago, which is obviously a little bit different than how folks would sound in New York or New Orleans, for example, or out on the West Coast, because there are different dialects. The right man for the job. Dropped our silliness aside, Buongiorno provided the perfect fit for Tommy Angelo's dual nature, and as an honest, hardworking cabbie turned principled mafia soldier, quote, we were casting for Tommy. We were obviously wanted somebody that we felt the people would be able to relate to, says Sandoval. They had to be able to have two different sides of Tommy. One which is a family man who loves his wife and child. The other side is Tommy, the mobster who becomes our hero. And they needed to have that edge of being a hero, that person you wanted to be. You want to play him. You want to see him succeed. And you also want to relate to him from a family side. We needed somebody who would be able to bring those two sides of Tommy together. Buongiorno fit the bill, delivering as a performance of Tommy Angelo that will captivate players when Mafia Definitive Edition makes its debut later this year. Quote, Andrew did an amazing job, and I really look forward to fans meeting his Tommy Angelo, says Sandoval. As do I, and I think that the more I hear about him, the more I see him in the screenshots and the video, I think he's a worthy success for Michael Sorvino, who played Tommy Angelo in the original Mafia game. The localization is hugely important to Hangar 13, and each voiceover language in Mafia Definitive Edition has its own casting process to evaluate which actors is the best to embody the ensemble of the 1930s characters. For instance, the Czech localization managed to secure most of the original game's Czech voice actors, including Mark Vaspert, who reprising his role as Tommy Angelo is something that's sure to delight the fans of the original performance. Of course, Tommy Angelo is just one part of the tapestry of mobsters that make up Mafia Definitive Edition story, and soon we'll give you more insight into supporting casts that will help bring Tommy's story to life. Stay tuned. And I'm very much looking forward to checking out more articles, behind the scenes, casting of the variety of characters, and voice actors, voice actresses that they're bringing on board for Mafia Definitive Edition, including the voice actors for Sarah, Paulie, Sam, and of course, Don Salieri. It's definitely something that we have to look forward to and to hold us over while we wait for Mafia Definitive Edition to hopefully arrive August 28th for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, as well as PC. And I will continue to cover all news and information, articles, as well as hopefully some gameplay trailer action coming sooner rather than later. We'll be doing a breakdown of that eventually, right, Hangar 13? So you're welcome to subscribe, join the GeauxBurns Nation, and thank you so much to everybody that has gotten us over 11,900, as well as joining our awesome Discord community. Your thoughts, your views, and opinions regarding Andrew Buongiorno as the new voice and look for Tommy Angelo in Mafia Definitive Edition. Are you starting to warm up to him? Did you like him already the moment you saw him and heard his voice in the narrative trailer? Or are you still on the fence? Let me know your thoughts, your views, and opinions regarding Andrew Buongiorno as the new Tommy Angelo for Mafia Definitive Edition below in the comments section.